Hey guys, Omerko here, self-taught web developer. We are near the end of our Angular Essential series, well, just few more videos to go. Through this video, we will go back to our routing and you will see how can we set up guards for our routes. Guards in Angular are files that will protect our routes on front-end side. There are 4 types of guards and all of those are used in specific occasions. Through this video we will work with one of those called canActivate. To generate our guard now with Angular CLI, I will go into my terminal. Here I will run ng for generate and then guard. Then I will pass guards for a folder / name of my guard, and I will name my guard auth for authentication. So now submit, and once we submit this, Angular CLI will ask us which type of guard do I wish to use. I will select this canActivate as this is the guard to activate route or not based on our condition. So space here, well, space to select and then enter to create one of those. In my project I will go into my source, app, and I will have this guards folder. I will open my auth.guard.typescript file. In my guard file now you can see this method canActivate. CanActivate method will take a snapshot of my route and based on my condition it will show it or not. So this canActivate at the end must return, as here it does, it must return boolean value, so true or false. To work with my guard now I will use constructor just above my canActivate, right here, constructor. Let's also initialize it. In it I will use private property of my data service and I will set this to be a type of data service, our data service which we created earlier in this series. Jumping quickly to my data service file, I will make sure to have at least one property called authenticated. And this property will be set to false by default. By this I will just mock authentication of the user. Now make sure to save this file and go back to our guard. And now I wish to use that property in my canActivate method here. Here where I return my true value, I will remove that. Let me also make some spacing, and inside I will check if my data, so this .data service .authenticated property is set to true. So if it's equal to true, or shorthand we could just use this .data service .authenticated. So if this is true, then everything is okay and I'm able to continue. So here I will return true value, which will indicate that this canActivate will continue through our route. Else here, if this is not the case, then I wish to route my user to home page and return false here. To route directly through TypeScript, I must in my constructor import another module. So I will here create another private property of router and I will set this to be type of router, which must be imported from at Angular /router. By this, in my else here, I could use this .router.navigate method. This navigate method will accept array of different properties. Mostly as a first value we pass here, well, path, where should we redirect our user. So for me it will be /home as a string. If you have some parameters, you could put comma here and use those right here, but for me, I don't need to do that. So by this, if my authenticated is set to false, then my user will be redirected to home page. So here also, as this canActivate expects some boolean value, here I will return now false, which will indicate that authentication was that it failed. With this we have our guard in place, but we are still not using it. To use my guard I must go to my app routing module And here I will select one of my routes where I wish to use my guard. I will go to my posts route here, and after my load children I will put comma and use can activate property here. This can activate property will accept array of guards that could be passed. For my example, I do have just one guard, which is auth guard, and this must be imported from our auth guard file. With this, everything should be in place, so let's just save this. To test this now, I will go to my browser, and here I am currently on my home page. I can route myself to about page, and that will work perfectly. If I try to route myself to posts page now, it will redirect me back to my home page. And this we can confirm with content on my screen as well as URL for my route right here. So guard is guarding my posts route as our authenticated property is not valid for this route to be visited. If I would go back now to my data service, inside I will change this authenticated property from false to true. Back in my browser now, I can see that from home page, if I would click on posts now, I will successfully be redirected to posts, which indicates that also now that user is authenticated, which we just mocked, user is able to visit our posts route. By this, you saw how to guard your routes and how to use guard as a feature in Angular. So now it's just up to you to authenticate your user, and for those who are not authenticated to redirect those to some error page, for example. But with this, we are one step closer to end of our Angular Essentials series. Through our next video, we will go through unit testing in Angular, well, at least basic example of those. Thank you all for watching. If you liked what you saw, please click like and subscribe as I'm posting new content weekly. Thank you once again, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye!